Okay, sorry about that. Got a phone call. Got cut off. The last thing I was talking about here is the Republican Gaff brothers, which would be Rick Santorum and Mitt Romney, were at it again yesterday. Rick Santorum saying that he doesn't care about unemployment. Doesn't really care about the unemployment rate. I think that was part of some greater message or something, I guess, because I can't imagine he would want to stick with that message, but you can get online and probably find it. But it was pretty asinine on his part, and of course, Romney's like, oh, I do care about the unemployment rate. But then again, I think not to be outdone, Mitt Romney's advisor got on the air in an interview with CNN and basically said for the fall election that Mitt Romney's going to hit the reset button and kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch, he'll shake it all up and start all over. And that's exactly what I've been saying all along. Is I know he's going to go back right to the middle or whatever, or back to how he was when he was a governor, which he claims he was severely conservative as a governor, which was a bunch of horsepucky. Because we all know that's not true. He was a moderate, and that's fine. But you can't have it both ways, man. You can't go hard right to compete with these whack jobs, and then shift back to the middle and expect everybody to forget what you were just talking about in the GOP primary season. So, the Obama administration is going to have a field day. He basically wrote half of the attack ads without even having to do anything. And as I said yesterday, the guy spent ridiculously more amounts of money than his competitors in the GOP field, and he's barely beaten these guys in many cases. Some of these races have been bigger margins, but for the most part, they've been squeakers. And for all that money he spent, you'd think he'd be throttling every one of these guys nonstop, but he's not. Of course, Newt Gingrich says, with the Etch-a-Sketch, of course, Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich now using props, using the Etch-a-Sketch, which is now made in China, by the way, which is representative of Mitt Romney. Newt uses that as a prop and says, people aren't stupid. They're going to remember what he said during the primaries. It's like, Newt, people are stupid. That's why we have candidates like you. Come on. And that's why we have people like Paul Ryan in there to come up with budgets like the Paul Ryan budget. And then people who actually who would get bent over and screwed hard with the Paul Ryan budget are sitting there calling the guy a courageous hero for America. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, Newt, people are stupid. Which just shows you how dumb you are. Sitting there, people aren't stupid. Well, yeah, they are. Not all people, obviously, but some people are. A very large contingent of the Republican voting bloc is stupid because unless you're absolutely wealthy, you have no business voting Republican. And that's the thing, is the Republicans are masterful at making people vote against their own best interests. We've seen this over and over again. It's the same old story. That's all they do. And of course, they can't win fairly. They have to cheat. They had to have the Citizens United thing enacted by a conservative Supreme Court so that corporations and rich people can use their money to try to influence elections. Because that's all that it's about, is them getting power and keeping power. There's nothing to do with whether people like the ideas or the majority of the country like the ideas, because if the GOP were governing for the American people, for the majority, as they like to always say, then they would be doing a completely different set of things that align with a progressive agenda. And they're not doing that. They're ignoring the majority, as usual. So, I wish people would wake up and realize, look, the majority of the country is this. I thought majorities are supposed to count. I thought majorities are what, democracy is based on. I know we're a republic, but figuratively speaking, the democracy is at stake here. It should be about your ideas and about what you can do and your solutions, not about how much money you have and getting power and then using it to do what you want or what your campaign contributors want, and not what the people who supposedly elected you want. But then again, the people that elected you under false pretenses, because once you get into office, you don't do any of the things that you ran for. So the GOP hopefully will get run out of town in these 2012 elections, and then we can tell them this is what happened and this is why. And if you pull your head out of your butt, then you might understand that. But, of course, they don't understand that because they don't want to understand it. They just want to do what they want to do because they're like a bunch of petulant brats who never seem to learn. And so as long as, we have petulant brats in Washington, and there's some Democrats that are, that are guilty of that too. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Democrats aren't guilty of anything either. They are, but they're just not. I think for the most part, they're just not nearly as bad. So, anyways, it's time for me to get out of here. Got to go make a living. Have a great Thursday. Thursday, March 22nd. This is John signing off. I'm out of here.